beautiful pupils of grade 3, we are yet again ready for another time of learning. Today we are going to be doing the corrections to the exercises that were given to us in our previous lessons. Remember, we learned about square and square roots, how to find the square of numbers, how to find the square roots using the back of our exercise books, that's our multiplication table, and how to find square roots using prime numbers. So let's get started. Find the square root of 7. Remember, I said that to find the square root of a number, you need to multiply that number by itself. And the symbol for square, to show that a number is squared, is a tiny 2 at the top right corner of that number, which means 7 times 7. 7 squared here means 7 times 7, which is equal to 49. So 49 here is our answer, is the square root of 7. We do the same thing here. 8 squared, 8 times 8, which is equal to 64. 64 here is the square root of 8, which is our answer. Now let's go to the next one. Find the square root of 16. Remember, I told you in our previous class that this is the symbol for square root. So whenever you see this symbol and a number inside of it, you are being asked to find the square root of that number. Now, how do we do this without solving? What number would multiply itself to give me 16? That's the question you should ask yourself. If we say 2 times 2, is it going to give us 16? No. If we say 3 times 3, is it going to give us 16? No. What about 4 times 4? Yes. 4 times 4 is 16. So therefore, 4 is the square root of 16. We do the same thing here. 5 times 5, 25. So 5 is the square root of 25. Likewise here, 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 is the square root of 36. Now over to the other side. Finding square roots using prime numbers. Now, we were asked to find the square root of 64 using prime numbers. Now, if you remembered that this was how we did it in our previous class. Now, 64 is an even number. Therefore, we are going to divide by 2 because 2 is a number that can divide all even numbers. So we're going to use 2. Now, you might think this is a big number and it might be difficult for you to divide. So you can decide to break it down. 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. So you see how we've done that. Now 32 is also an even number, so we continue to use 2. 32 divided by 2 will give us 16. 16 is an even number, we use 2. 16 divided by 2 will give us 8. 8 is an even number, we continue to use 2. 8 divided by 2 will give us 4. 4 is an even number, we use 2. 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. 2 will divide itself. A number divides itself. So we have 1. Now what do we do next? We write all these prime numbers or prime factors. So we have 2. How many of them do we have? 6 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Do we have 6 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Now after listing them, we pair them. Pairing them means putting them in bracket of 2's. After pairing them, we pick 1 out of each pair. 1 out of each pair. So out of this, we pick 1, times we pick 1, and here we pick 1. So what is our answer? 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 here is the square root of 64, and we have just solved it using prime factors. Let's do the same thing here. Find the square root of 25 using prime factors. Now, because 25 is not an even number, we cannot use 2. We cannot use 3 either, because 25 cannot be divided by 3. We cannot use 4, but we can use 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. So let's use 5. 25 divided by 5 will give us 5. 5 divides itself, like I said here. A number divides itself. So 5 divides 5, we have 1. Here we only have 5 times 5. Put them in brackets, they are just 2. So you pick one of them, which is our answer. So 5 is the square root of 5, and we have solved this using prime factors. Here we have come to the end of today's correction. You can go through the work that you did and mark yourself, or your parents can help you with it. Till we meet another time. Bye.